Today for Game Reviews, we're talking about Helldivers 2. Players use a variety of weapons and stratagems to shoot and kill alien threats. We will be using this list of game criteria to keep things objective. As much as I like the game, I don't want to just be handing out 9s just because I really enjoy the game. IGN.
I'm going to score it a 9.
So to start things off, we're starting with graphics and visuals. I'll move quickly with the things that are pretty obvious. In Helldivers 2, the worlds are amazing. The lighting looks really good. It's very immersive. So we can just go ahead and cross that off. That's an easy one. As far as the gameplay, it all feels really good. You know, that's going to be things like controls, responsiveness, the mechanics, how well they're executed, and the learning curve and accessibility. So we can go ahead and cross that off. There's a tutorial that shows you how to do everything, and it all feels pretty straightforward. The storyline and narrative, it's pretty great.
Liberty's enemies march ever closer. Together, we must take back control of freedom.
There's not a lot of plot depth, and there's not a lot really explained to you, but the general premise is there right from the intro, which is amazing. It should get some bonus points for how great that intro is.
No! Sweet Liberty! No!
So we'll go ahead and cross that off as well. Sounds are excellent in the game. All the explosions and gun sounds, the voice acting, absolutely amazing. Performance has been good. I really haven't had many performance issues, you know, as far as things like frame rate stability, loading times. Now, as bugs and glitches, they're rare, but they can be game breaking. They're not like super common. They're pretty random, and there's lots of different bugs and glitches, definitely. So, I mean, I'm a little hesitant to cross off performance completely, but we'll take that into consideration. UI and user experience, everything seems pretty well. It's pretty minimalistic, which I really like, so that it's more immersive. You know, you don't have a bunch of screen clutter as far as the UI goes. And the overall user experience, I find it easy to, you know, use the stratagems, cycle weapons. So, I really don't have any issue there. Multiplayer and online features. You know, I'm not actually going to cross this off yet, just because this is going to cover things like stability of online servers, which was an initial problem, but they have fixed that. I actually didn't play the first few days. But even now, I find that like when players connect, they have trouble connecting. There's issues with players getting disconnected quite frequently. I still see that quite a bit, so I think they still do need some work there. And that does kind of double back to performance. Okay, on to replayability. The amount of content. There's a good amount of content as far as like worlds to explore and diversity of environments. There's a lot of different maps.
Ooh, a map. I have a map of the moon.
Do you have
like
one of those?
you can feel it.
I got a whole map store. Maps everywhere.
They all have a very unique feel to them, each of the planets. However, it is at the end of the day, it is a repetitive game. You're dropping in, killing, doing similar objectives. There's a good amount of diversity as far as the missions go, but nonetheless, it still is pretty repetitive. So I'm not going to cross that one off either, because I think that's a big concern to a lot of people when they do take a look at this game, is they think, you know, a lot of my friends are playing it, and it's all, oh, we're all hyped up, oh, this game's awesome. And they're like, nobody's probably going to be playing it in a week or two. And so, you know, it's just kind of one of those games that it gives off that vibe. But the developers do seem pretty proactive with pushing out new content and trying to keep things interesting. Yeah, going forward, we'll have to see how that turns out. The progression system, you know, like character progression and unlockables is good, and it keeps you wanting to play more. But after you reach about level 20 and you can pretty much unlock everything that you want to unlock by that point, it starts to become, you start to have less motivation to play the game, where you don't have that incentive to unlock more things, because I believe it does go up to level 50. They do have the premium war bond passes that you can unlock with the super credits. So that's a nice way of introducing new primary guns. And so the real incentive to play is just the challenge of trying to beat the higher difficulties. The difficulties range from 1 to 9, 1 being very easy, 2's easy, and then I think 3 is medium, 4 is challenging, 5's hard, and then all the way up to 9, which is hell. Now, I still do have some ship modules to work towards unlocking. These are like passive buffs for that boost your ship in different ways or boost your stratagems in different ways. But the overall impact of these buffs isn't very game-changing. At least I haven't seen any that are like crazy different. Like this one reduces deployment time for all sentry stratagems. That's not that game-changing. I don't think I can really cross off the progression system. These kind of go hand in hand with replayability and progression system, so I won't be checking that off either. I almost want to skip over the game systems. They don't seem to be completely relevant to this kind of game. Although the game systems it does have in it, they work well, and I like the idea of it. Like you're on your ship and you have different control panels for upgrading your weapons or upgrading your ship. So the game systems, they seem all well and fine. I mean, there's not really much to say about them because there's not a ton of different systems in the game. I don't think it's really all that relevant, so we'll just cross that off as well. Innovation and originality. You know, it might not be an original idea. I think it is innovative. I will cross this off the checklist. However, for me, it's nice that it's not zombies. Like for a long time in gaming, if you know what I mean, it's just been zombie after zombie, survive the zombies. It's always zombies. So it's nice to see bugs and automatons, and it's a nice change up from what we're used to. So the value for the money, it's $40 game, which is right on that fine line of is it worth it, 40 bucks? For some people it might not be, and they might want to wait for it to go on sale, which is okay. $40 I think is right at that limit of value for money. If it was a $60 game, then I'd be like, I don't know if I would have even bought it, or 60 or 70 like the standard is today. But for $40, I will cross this off. I think it's a good value for the money. It definitely has quite a bit of content to do for $40. Let's see how many hours I've put in so far. So currently I'm at 50 hours played. I'm over level 20. I'm like 22 or 23. I have pretty much unlocked most things that I want to unlock. There is still ship upgrades I can do that'll benefit me more, and I do want to continue on to get to those harder difficulties. Right now I'm up to like 6, I think is extreme or something like that. So I do want to push it to that 7, 8, 9 difficulties. I've really just been playing pretty casually and letting my friends catch up, so I haven't pushed onward. It's one of those games I kind of want to savor. I don't want to just, I haven't been grinding it day in and day out. It's more so a casual game I play on the side. It's a game that complements whatever main game I'm playing. Like if I'm hardcore grinding World of Warcraft.
Oh, fuck me. What the fuck? Why isn't he jumping? Why the fuck isn't he jumping?
Or something, and I want to take a break, it's nice to say, hey, let's go spread some democracy, bruh. Accessibility. Accessibility is going to be like being able to customize your controls and the game settings, that sort of thing. There's actually quite a bit of accessibility. And one thing I will mention, if you're on the PC, turn on the dynamic aim mode. Really, this should be on by default. It makes going from first person to third person aiming way smoother. It's a big quality of life improvement, so turn that on, and we'll go ahead and cross off accessibility because I think that's all well and good. And the longevity, potential for future updates, post-launch support, community longevity, I will cross off the longevity because the developers have seemed to be pretty active and trying to provide new content. They've already rolled out the mechs, which is like the new thing you can unlock at 25 that wasn't in the game at launch. So we've already begun to see some new content come out, and so I'm hopeful for the future of this game. I think it's in good hands with the developers. So we'll go ahead and cross that off as well. So taking a look at the final checklist here, We have 14 different points, which you kind of reduce that down, and we're looking at about a 7.8 out of 10. That's a great score. That's a monster score. So if you're looking for a fun co-op multiplayer experience to play with your buddies, overall, I recommend it. It's real fun. If you like this game review, hit that like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.